this session not only for the training for the IAI engineers, but also the preparation for the NGCP project. So some of you already aware that the type of the product we provide for the NGCP project, it's not a full feature of Genius NAC. So we will actually highlight that part when the slide I will going to explain. So in this session, we estimate almost 3, even the 4 hours, depends on what kind of question you have later on. So we are going to record this this online session and share with you, so you can actually keep watching whenever you when it's necessary. And also, please do not hesitate to ask any type of question. It is okay if the question related with the project or question related of the feature or even others. So we try to educate you the solving your confusing part, especially. So so in this training session, we'll be separated into 3. So first session, I'm the one who deliver the introduction about our product and the company briefly, and also where are the resources you can find when you actually you need to get to know our product better, and also the properly introduced guide to the customer. So let us start. So probably not all of you aware of our product introduction, or many of you already been attended our previous webinar. There were the sales sessions, 6 sessions of sales webinar, and also the 4 technical sessions. They're all present by the Yeonju. So that will be very helpful if you watch anytime, okay? So these are the today's agenda, but there are still more, okay? So let us start. So I'd like to highlight that the danger of inside threat worse than external threat, because when we visit the customer side and discussing about the security, most of them actually concerned about threat comes from the external, but actually there are more threats comes from internally than externally. And it often happen more the inside step. And their main purpose to actually get more confidential the business information and or sensitive personal information. So it will all impact the corporate image. Sometimes the leakage of the data ruin the positive image. So inside the staff, they are malicious employees. Actually, they have some purpose actually to do some profit. They do this some purpose, but still many of the cases it happened by the careless employees. They don't really care what how their action can be actually addressed the result. So these the ignorance or the careless the action actually the address the good result at the end. So what the suggestion we propose is list privileges to the limited resources, even for the internal user. So when the new device actually attempt your network, we must check the proper user authentication is organized, and then check the device itself. And it's more good, we can actually check the health status of the device itself, because even if we check the device and also the user, we don't know this device is safe to connect our network or not, because it already contains some malicious the code inside. And finally, allow the devices to the limited resources. Not all depends on their the role or depends on their status of the devices they bring on. And of course, we need to monitor all the process all the time. So what you need to do is we checked all of the flow should be working on every environment, not just particular. That was the major problem of the NAC. Even if it was a good product, but not all customer is really welcome to use, because there are so many issues when it comes to bringing the NAC to their environment, because it requires to actually, it really matters with their existing environment. It matters with their existing switching devices. It matters with their existing the model or vendors. It should be working every environment, and also it should be working on real time. Okay. So, okay, let's take a look at the product overview. So, Genial NAC has three major components: police server, network sensor, and Genial agent. Agent is an optional. Okay, it's not already the mandatory. So you may wonder, the police server, network sensor, are they the appliance type of the equipment? It's not. So police server, the network sensor, Genial agent, we provide as a software. Okay, you already know that you can download the latest version of those from our genius.com homepage. So all you need to do is choosing the content for each software installation, whether it is hardware, Intel-based hardware, or virtual environment, or even the cloud. So in the police server, it collects node information, node means the device, from the network sensors and also the agent. It established security policies based on that information it collected, and also distribute the established policy to the network sensor and also the agent. Network sensor works as the handyman. It collects the node information from the network. It identifies actually who and what kind of devices actually access your network and whether it is valid or not. It also enforces the established policies from the police server to targeted node. Genial agent is an optional software. It can simply be installed on the endpoint, especially Windows and Mac, and sometimes Linux. It collects the system software information of the devices. It delivers the security setting of the control or collecting information, etc. So please remember, the agent is optional, it's not mandatory. So when your customer asking the Genial NAC required agent, sometimes it's yes or not. It depends on the feature the customer is looking for. Okay, I will tell you more later. So this is the basic Genial NAC network diagram. Okay, so police server, I'm going to explain based on the on-prem environment. So when you take the chance to install Genial NAC as an on-premise environment, you need to prepare hardware or even Genius appliance or even virtual environments and then install police server software in it. Just imagine that you are going to deploy this product, the NGCP, okay? And it can be located in your local environment or even the IDC, okay? As long as this police server can be communicate with your internet in order to get your network information, it's okay. The network sensor, but must to be located in your local environment, especially your switching devices, layer 2 or even layer 3 switches. Then if it is a single network, it will simply connect this network sensor to your existing switch devices. It analyzes all the layer 2 base, the packet, DHCP or broadcast packet, and it identifies the type of devices and control the devices based on the information it collected, including IP MAC, platform, open port, SNMP, etc. So I'm going to explain more about the later, but basically without agent installation, we can detect and classify the type of the platform or detailed model. We call it DPI, but it is not 100% perfect, meaning we identify certain devices as a Galaxy S20 or Mac Pro, something like that. But the more detailed information we collect, then the more correct platform detection we'll be able. But sometimes the information that we collect from your network is not 100%. They block the port, they enable the protocol, so that we cannot collect all the full information. In that case, we may guide it, oh, this is the Mac, but we don't know what exact version is. We identify the Android, but it's not, we don't know the exact model, something like that. So sometimes customer confusing that this is, oh, does Genion classify all network devices 100%? It's not. So please understand that, okay? And then we collected information, we send the police server. And also, if there's a headquarters, we need to also put the network sensor. If there is a multiple network, Genion network sensor supports 802.1q. So you need to set the both sides, network sensor and the layer 3 switch function port configuration. So then we can provide logical network sensor to the VLAN. Then it all separately the work and collect and control, and also send the information to the police server. Okay. So here, so like the NGCP, there are multiple branches. So we need to install the network sensor of each branches. Okay. See, so network sensor support 128 trunk port logically, but we recommend to 64 the trunk port to be used. An agent, if you install agent in the PC, it will collect the information that you can mostly collect. You can see the control panel of the Windows, including system information and hardware, software, OS update status, and other security settings. Okay, so you know our product name is Genion NAC, right? Network Access Control. But actually, this product has even more features. Okay, the question from the donor, but I mentioned 64, sorry, not 54. So logically, it supports maximum 128 VLAN from port, but the ideally, meaning we can guarantee is the maximum 64, the half is the ideal number of trunk port that you can safely use. So each per sensor. Okay. So, so there are actually more than network access control. It including network surveillance, because in order to control, you need to first to have the full visibility of in your network. Without knowing what's inside your network, it's difficult to actually control, right? So that is why it comes from network surveillance. And device platform intelligence, which will give you more detailed information of each detected devices. And of course, IP address management. This is also the unique feature that GeniaNet has, because since we are mainly working on the network sensor base of control, because it deployed every layer 2 level, and it can actually control and monitor and control of the TCP IP level. Unlike other like ForceCloud or other the product, they don't have this feature because they work differently. Okay, you will understand it later on. Okay, and of course network access control and wireless LAN security. The monitor and the control of the SSID around you. You can find it by the agent or network sensor. We'll talk about more later. And also we are very friendly with the secured onboarding process for the BYOD and GAS. Okay, we don't know how many number of devices or people actually access our network daily. So it should be the onboarding, not managed by the administrator by manually every time. And desktop configuration management, it's endpoint security. So it requires agent installation. Okay, so remember that when the customer asks that does GeniaNet require agent installation, it depends on the feature that you use. Sometimes you can say them yes or not. Okay, so in order to know what's inside your PC, there is only way, which is installing agent, right? But having visibility of the network or controlling the devices, isolate devices based on the network information that you have, you don't actually necessarily to install the agent itself. Okay, it depends on the case. And also IT security automation. So one of the common issue from the end user is we have already multiple security solutions. Sorry, do you have any question? If not, please. Okay, please unmute.
Diba bago
Unmute
tinanggal kanina.
Your...
Pinalitan mo yung password.
One moment.
Bago tinanggal kanina?
Kasi kanina okay pa siya. Eso.
Donna.
Sorry.
So, are you...
Okay,
Do we
Donna,
need to
sorry.
start or can you start? Can you proceed?
Yeah, you may proceed now.
Okay,
Sorry.
It's okay. So we support IT security automation because those multiple number of security solutions working as a silo work. And if you guide to purchase another security solution for them, they are not really sure because they already have multiple security solutions and they don't even sure that those solution is worthy. Why should I buy the new product? So one of our strong point is we can maximize the internal security integrating with your existing security solution, not only using for GeniaNet, but also maximize the security full feature using the integration. So I will tell more detail later. Okay. I guess many of you are already familiar with the image. So this image, you can see when you log into the system and go to the management and node. So in this the page, you can actually see how many or what types of devices actually detected, currently connected our network, and is mapping with what kind of the IP and what is the platform information, which switch port or which SSID it connected, is it belongs to whom, or even which team, depends on. So basically, we are not just providing providing just meaningless domain information, but it's correlated, meaning it's providing contextual information. That who has what kind of devices, and that particular device is connected where and when kind of information. So that is provide more deep insight point of view to the IT admin. That's for the network surveillance. This is important. The part you need to understand and must know everything about your network. Okay. Okay, and then I just explained the device platform intelligence, DPI. It's more advanced, the fingerprinting technology compared to others. So once we detect the tamped device, we provide the detailed information. It includes the business contextual information. There's a tie or even the end of sales or end of life, or risk information like CVE. It just not detect only the well-known the product devices or platform, but it detect all IP-enabled devices, including industrial machine or even healthcare machine. And IP address management, sure. We call it IPAM. So, and in the NGCP project, they plan to purchase the product only for this feature. Okay. We can say this is only for the management of the IP address. The management part more focused on, but not really security part. We may control of the real-time usage of the IP address, but we don't really concern about is it okay this .100 should be using by whom or when it's connected, something like that. So that is how Genie and NAC they include the IPAM feature here. So we provide full feature of the IPAM just like others, okay, including the IP usage monitoring and the IP user awareness. It is good for the auditing. So just remember that if we can the notice and guide who has what kind of devices, and it is mapping with what IP and connect with the where. Not just kind of like management point of view, but once there is some like security instance happen, it will be very useful for the future instance investigation. Also, you can prevent IP conflict, etc. And network access control.
Hello, Donghan.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
I have
go
a
ahead,
question.
Please.
For the
Yeah.
IPAM,
Okay.
can you go back? Can you go back from the previous slide?
Can you see the IPAM page slide?
Yeah, there you go. at the Legends, there's a Microsoft Windows. However, from the version that we're using, it's different. Does it mean that you could edit the one on the Legends, the one that we, and the Microsoft Windows? There's in the Legends, indicating the, I think it's pink.
Okay, so your question is
Yes.
this matrix view that's on this slide is including the Microsoft Windows. There's a 4 in the Legend, the
Yes.
tab. But
Can we add more?
the correct,
Like, for example,
okay, okay.
OS?
Other version, you mean?
Yes, yes.
Okay, let me check to Steve.
Okay. Thank you.
I just talked Steve, but he needs to check. Okay, so he will guide you during the after he complete the best practice use case, and then we are going to have a Q&A session, and he will check, and he is going to actually share some idea about your question. Okay. So may I proceed? Okay, thank you. So what is network access control? So once our sensor is placed in your local environment, it will detect all the type of the devices because it interrogate all the communication between the gateway or to the devices, or even between the device to device. And later on, it tried to be a gateway. It let them other devices in their network. Genian and a network sensor become a like gateway. That is how non-compliant devices can be guided, redirected to the captive web portal and isolated, and until it is remediated, compliant. Okay, so, but we don't actually necessarily provide all the devices can be accessed any resources that company has. Okay, so in this slide, we are going to show you the role-based access control. So the user ID Kevin73 is a part of sales group, meaning say this person should be access sales related resources, not all related system. Okay. Sorry. Okay, and then wireless LAN security. So you may confusing that the word from the wireless sensor. So in the Genian NAC, there's a network sensor software, and inside the network sensor software, it includes both wireless sensor and wired sensor. So in order to use the feature of the wireless sensor, meaning it works as a like the detecting SSID around the network sensor, you need to install the network sensor software, the hardware that has this wireless the interface. Okay. If you just install network sensor software, just appliance type of equipment or just user server, it never works because it doesn't have a wireless interface, just like NGCP project. Okay. And if you install the Genian agent into the PC, as long as the PC has a wireless interface, it sends the SSID around you, and also it can control which SSID needs to be accessed. So it can discover all connected wireless devices for SSID and discover where the SSID are located, or even detect access points connected to the corporate network or not. Depends on the compliance. Sometimes you can actually make that devices meet the compliance. And secured onboarding process for the BYOD and guest. So when the guest comes in your corporate, and then in the system, you need to actually check which network they are going to access and how long kind of information. So we can provide the kind of like request approvals the system, or if the customer already have that kind of system, usually like big company and has many guests daily, they usually have that kind of system. When you access the info desk, they require your ID card, or sometimes they request some like your more information in order to bring your laptop or mobile. But mostly they don't really allow, but sometimes they require in order to prevent the security incident. So in that case, if the customer really wants only the guest people to be allowed to be accessed, only the internet limited the network, then we'll normally use that kind of system as well. So, but I will explain more later, but this feature is not part of the IAID project, meaning this feature is part of enterprise version, not the professional. Okay. Of course, this captive web portal we can provide. It is part of the project. So when the user login try to access your network, it requires some authentication process using the captive web portal. So it requires some of the action from the people to access. It depends on the status. Okay. And endpoint security. So this feature requires agent installation. So once you install agent, it will detect and manage the OS patch management, OS update, or the Microsoft Office, the patch management, but not other the software. Okay, and also you can collect and identify the current version of the software that is installed in your PC, and including antivirus software and any other mandatory software, or even checking the illegal application. And also you can actually check the Windows security settings, screensaver, password, or share folder, or external devices. Depends on the compliant policy, you can actually manage. Meaning, say, the device should be followed the guideline. it requires agent installation. Okay? IT security automation. So if we integrate with any other third-party security solution, we can bring more correlated security, the power into the customer environment. So let's, for example, when there are perimeter security systems such as next generation firewall, we can give IP and user information for the aware the policy. Then we can also take from them the infected endpoint IP or MAC, and then we can quarantine it, something like that. And same with other antivirus software or SIEM or any other. Okay? As long as they using the standard protocol, we can technically support all integration. And we cover up most of the compliance of each industry, make them meet their internal security. This slide explained one of the example of the strong authentication flow for the regular employees. So when the regular employee bring the device and try to access their network, we're going to check the device itself, whether this device is registered one or new one, and checking the user authentication require ID password, or sometimes it requires multiple SSO. And then depends on the needs, it may require more like deeper detection, such as device hash check, whether this specific device is okay to be accessed based on checking the internal status of the PC. Okay. And then finally, we can allow them to access based on their role. Of course, this process must be monitored all the time. That is the flow of them. So when you thinking about the NGCP project, probably the checking IP, MAC authentication, and providing IPAM, and then user authentication, but not go to the device hash check, because this is not part of this project. Just remember, okay? The part. So how Genie NAC is more beneficial than other NAC vendor? First of all, it is requires for the change of the existing network environment, which cause low complexity. For other vendor, they really matter, because it requires, in order to detect or control of the devices in local, it requires integrating with their existing switching. They don't have full functionality to identify or control by themselves, but they more rely on or correlated with their existing switching devices. That's why the vendor or the model are all matter, meaning it's more complexity, more configuration during the pre-configuration, and even the while you're managing. And truly vendor agnostic, it works in any environment. Remember, I said it should be working any environment, right? If you have a multiple vendor, multiple model, our product, our NAC only support this vendor or this particular model, it doesn't work, right? Customer doesn't really welcome for that kind of command. It should be work any environment. So Genie NAC so does. And it rapid, because as long as the pre-configuration information you have, it doesn't take that much time to actually deployment or installation. Of course, it takes time to set the policy setting, but as long as you already have a process in your mind, it doesn't take also a lot of time compared to other vendor, because it doesn't require to be integrate with your existing switching devices. Doesn't necessarily ask some help your network team to be co-work, because we work independently. Okay, that is how we are fast, and we can monitor and control not only south to north traffic, but also internal threat. Just remember how important to aware and prevent the internal threat. Okay, and it's cost effective. To remember, all those 8 features that I explained in the previous slide are provided as a one package. Just one thing, remember. Of course, it depends on the edition, GeniaNAC edition that you choose, okay? Those 8 features are part of the enterprise version. It will be different professional version, okay? And also it based on number of active devices. Okay. So that's all for the product, and I'm going to share, highlight more part of the, like some of the confusing part that I guess some questions from your side are often heard. So I'm going to explain about that in our reviewing our Genius homepage, okay? Before I go that, you already may know that we are #1 market share in South Korea. We beat the Viascope this time, right? We beat all the time Viascope in South Korea, okay? And we also, our name is also in Gartner and Frost & Sullivan. In case if the customer asks, we have, okay? You can guide that. So we have over 1,600 customers happily using one. So they're an enterprise who has multiple branches, or government or finance sector who need to be followed the many compliance issues. We meet all of them, okay? So that's all for the product overview. And now I'm going to temporarily pause the sharing, and I'm going to change the page. So can you see my genius.com homepage that I shared just now?
Yes.
Okay. So we have GeniaNAC has a 3 edition: basic, professional, and enterprise. So as a partner of Genius, I mean the IAID, you may need getting trial license for some purpose, for the self-test or providing pre-POC or even during the POC. So you need a trial license generation, right? So the person who has a Genius.com the account and that I give the partner role, they can actually register the deal and create the trial license, the mapping with that one. One thing you need to remember is even if you don't have a deal, you should actually register the deal with just the name of like simply testing, and then create trial license. Not get a license from like try for free in this page. This is for more everyone. It can be end user, anyone. But the problem is, as you can see here, there's a limitation of the, especially the term of using. So most people prefer to use professional and enterprise because they want to experience full feature, not just basic. But it only allowed to be used only 30 days. Okay, so especially if you have if you are going to actually using this trial license for the POC purpose, and if you expect that it might take more than a month, then you should actually go to the deal registration page and register the deal and create the trial license in the partner portal, not here, because once you generate the trial license in the partner portal, you can actually extend even by yourself. You don't actually necessarily ask to me. You can generate and extend by yourself. Okay, that is for the information. So basic, professional, enterprise we have. So what is difference? The basic only provide network surveillance feature. Okay, it provides device platform intelligence and automatically classified what is connected to your network, but there's no really control or security automation. If you need for that, you need to go for the professional or the enterprise. So NGCP, we propose professional edition. It includes network surveillance and plus more network access control, which is including user authentication, who access the network, and the enforcement of the policy, and also the custom reports. But it doesn't include the desktop management, which require agent installation and integration and business process, meaning high availability or integration with your existing Active Directory, something like that. These belongs to enterprise. So please do not really misunderstand and misguide the customer that endpoint security feature, meaning desktop management feature, will be supported in this project. Then customer may misunderstand and require the more, which is not part of this project, okay? And okay, so for more detail, I guess, no, here you can see the docs. If you click here, it directs this page. Every word you search here, it will address the result. So in this case, I typed the compare because I want to share with you more detailed information about the differences between each edition, basic, professional, or enterprise, okay? And you can also finding the sizing information that I often hear from your side, how we can actually size of the project. Okay, you can also find here. And more resources, especially the video files. You can either check from the videos of the resources of the genius.com, okay, or simply go to the Genius and checking almost like 100 videos available right now, including 6 weeks of sales session and 4 weeks of the technical session that we just completed. Okay, so most of the information you need to actually know are here actually. I know you don't have much time, so check and then watch. And if you have any question, just let us know, okay? Later on. So that's all for my session. I guess we already have almost like 40 or 50 minutes past. Do you need some break or do you want to just proceed? Guys? Okay, I'll check. Okay, proceed. Okay, Steve will lead the technical session, okay? So please don't remember that we are going to have a Q&A session later on. So you can ask for Steve the questions that you have during your task. He will demonstrate, okay, here, if it is possible. So I will hand over to my authority to Steve. Okay, please give a minute.
Hi guys. So in session, I will introduce our next about how to make the policy and how to learning and result. So before the session, okay, and can you hear me? All of that?
Yes, clear.
Yeah. And before the session, I will ask you a favor. So after the finish the all training sessions, you need to install the our next solution on the physical machine or virtual machine, and you need to test it yourself in order to improve the your skill. So it is important to make the to improve the skill, because when you meet the customer and you will able to talk about the NHC policy. So how to make the plan to make the IPAM policy. So I ask a paper. So after the session, you need to test it yourself. Yeah. So first is I'll explain if our NHC how to learn if in the customer side. So let's suppose it is the customer site. We don't know what is the device is connect, or how many number of the devices connect in the customer side. So if we install our network sensor scan automatically, and we find out device IP and MAC whole network, and network sensor collect the information using the MMAP and classify the type. The device is a PC, or the device is the printer or server. It is automatically, but it is not 100%, because some of the devices doesn't accept to collect the information. So it is almost 80% we classify the type, and normally 20% left you need to change the type manually. And we identify the platform and if the user do the authenticate, so actually we import the authentication or we integrate with the AD or other authentication solution. So single sign-on. So, and we know the device is who use. And on authorized devices try to access the customer site, our network sensor block the device and quarantine. And if the Anderson Brothers Smith is a guest, the 3 user only can access the internet and doesn't access the internal server, and they can only access internal printer, specific printer. It is a role-based access control. So far, without agent, NAC learned without agent so far. And actually, the NGCP project doesn't use the agent, but and if the user installs the agent collects more detailed information about the PC, like the system, software, and the user, what the process is learning, something like that. So, and we make the group, each status, and we will show the status, the antivirus latest version, and 9 out of 10 device is installed, and detect logo AP and WhatsApp, 5 out of 10 users are used, and Torrent also 1 out of 10 user is used, and Windows Update latest as well. We make the group regarding the each status. And there is an example. So group antivirus not latest version. Now, Lee is not installed antivirus, but Lee will install the antivirus. The Lee moved to the another group antivirus latest version. It is the basic NAC policy. So there is the 3 parts. It is the main NAC component. So collect, group, and policy. Collect is literally collect the information from the device or from the device. So we provide the 2 components in order to collect the information: network sensor and Genian agent. Network sensor can collect the IP and MAC information or open service port, platform, or end of sale, end of life, and common vulnerability exposure. And Genian agent is installed in device like the Windows or Mac or Linux. Genian agent collect the more detailed information about the system, software, hardware, and control the OS security setting, and handle the device status. And then we make the group using this information. And group, there is two type of the group, policy group and status group. Policy group is for node policy. What is the node policy? Node policy is enable the NIC policy, like the authentication, enable or disable, or single sign-on, enable or disable, agent install enforcement, enable, disable, or agent plugin. We provide the 42 plugin like the collect system, collect OS, or control your Windows screensaver, or share folder, or tethering, something like that. So we node policy is we choose the NAC policy, what use. So policy group is only for the node policy, and status group is literally the node status. It is for enforcement policy. Status group is node is unauthorized node or authorized node, and node is not updated the AV, and node is not authenticated, or node is step or guest, or the node is installed the uTorrent or IM Messenger. Status group, we make the device's status, and we assign the status group to enforcement policy. Enforcement policy is assign the network permission, like if the unauthorized node status group, there is unauthorized node, we enforcement policy assign the specific VLAN or specific network or quarantine. Enforcement policy assign the network permission for the status group. Yeah, first, I'll explain the step-by-step more detail about the collect, group, and policy. First, collect by network sensor. Network sensor scan using mmap protocol or DHCP and SNMP. Actually, DHCP has the platform information, and or SNMP also manufacture or what support is connected, or open port is the device what the service is running. We collect this information and guess it is the device close to the PC type or mobile phone or CCTV. So it is a network sensor slow. And we also end of life, end of support. So, and if the click the platform, we provide more detailed platform information. It is a switch platform, end of sales, and end of life. And what is the platform, what has the vulnerability. collected by Genian agent. Agent support the Windows and Mac and Linux. It is the running on the software base, so it is not run the kernel. It means our agent doesn't conflict any other agent. Doesn't happen to blue screen, like the blue screen. And each plugin has each function. But the process kill or file distribution, share port, or turn off the power, or like the, actually it is the useful plugin. So normally the step go off the work, they don't turn off their desktop power. So it's a plugin. We automatically turn off the desktop power after work time. And we prevent the tethering or screensaver or remove the software and password check, etc. And next group. So for collect, and then I will show you the group. First, node group. I already mentioned the node group for node policy that predefine target for applying NAC policy. It is a condition. Policy group is assigned the node policy. Here is the node policy.
Hi, Steve. Steve,
Yeah.
I have a question. Could you go back to the previous slide?
Yeah.
All right. So what is this node management view? Is it for the IPAM?
Oh, yeah. It is use the IPAM. Yeah. Because,
okay, got it.
Yeah, only you use the IPAM. Actually, node policy doesn't care about the node policy.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And node policy, there is the step and guest. So we make the node policy about the regarding the each employee.
How about for the anomaly detection? Does it include? I mean, will this work without an agent, or we still need agent for us to be able to make the anomaly detection part work?
Actually, node policy enable the NAC policy. Like the IPAM doesn't care about the node policy, but authentication.
Oh.
Yeah, authentication enable and disable, and suitability design page, standard or customized. It is belong to the it related with the IPAM. So
okay.
Actually, yeah, you don't use the authentication. You don't care about this node policy.
For example, this staff policy. So they don't have any agent, okay, installed, right? So does it mean that it's still protected by ARP spoofing, ARP bomb, port scan? Is that that what it mean? Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So for example,
Network sensor, can detect the ARP ping or port scan ARP bomb in the internal network. So, and if some of the devices occur the kind of the malicious anomaly packet, we indicate the device, and the device occur that anomaly packet. So
okay.
Yeah.
So for example, for the deployment, And since client doesn't have any agent, right, at the TOR, we're
Yeah,
not
yeah,
going
yeah.
to do the agent
It doesn't
configuration.
need
So
the
we just
agent.
need, so we could make a node policy, for example, IT department or the CEOs, then we could attach anomalies to it. So it's still protected. Is that correct?
Pardon?
Even though they don't have any agent?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You don't have any agent.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah. Actually,
Got it.
here is the agent action. It is only use the agent. And click the step. Here is the node policy status. Authentication method enable or not, or single sign-on, like the customer already used the AD. We integrate with the AD and to authenticate the user. And agent, it is our agent, enable or not. And here is the plugin.
So for the advanced authentication policy, authentication method, is this when they need, because I tried it the other day. So if it's like, it will redirect me to a portal, then I need to input a credential. So will that credential will be based on this authentication method? Or
Actually,
it's
the
not?
professional version only support the web-based web authentication. It is not integrate. It doesn't support the integrate with the other solution about the authentication. So yeah, you manually make the user, and you can use the authentication via web.
So for example, they have a client has an LDAP, and then the authentication method password authentication. So we'll be using we'll be using their Active Directory, correct?
Yeah.
I see. Okay, thanks.
And node group is the status group. Status group for the enforcement policy. So node status according to information collected from network sensor, agent, and node policy. Condition. It is a status group is assigned the enforcement policy. Enforcement policy is consists of the ID and group name. It is the status group and permission. This group is assigned this permission, and it is a top down. First, the device, our policy server check the device. The device is belong to this policy or not. If not, the policy server check second the status, and it is a top down check, and permission is consist of the three type: network, service, time. Network IP is the destination IP, like the firewall. The firmware and from DNS. Firmware means all network destination, all service port open, and time object anytime you can access.
Hi, Steve. Sorry for interrupting.
No.
For the
You
permission.
Yeah.
Okay. So for the permission, I tried it the other day as well. So every time when I put from the I will base it on the network. Okay, so IP. Let's say the IP address would be 10.10.10.100/24. So there's a drop down indicating what are the subnet mask, right?
Yeah.
So for example, like the IP address that I mentioned, 10.10.10.100, when I put it, then let's say it's /24. So what will happen if I add it is on the list view, I forgot what is it called, in the bottom part, when we successfully added it, it will indicate that it's 10.10.0/24. It will be a network segment, not the exact IP address. But if we choose /32.255, it will accept the 10.10.100, which is the exact IP.
Yeah, let me example. So if the network is 10.10.10.0, 24 class, 6 class, and only, and service is 80 or 88, and 80, just service port 80, and time is only 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. We make the permission and assign this permission. If the device has belonged to this group, and will assign the permission is made by us, the device can access only 10.10.10.0 secret subnet, only access the 80 port, only access the during the daytime. Other time they can access, if they try to access the internet or other network, they will see our captive web portal page, and captive web portal page guide the why you couldn't access the other network or internet. Hello, it is your question, right? Or
Yes. Thanks, Steve. Got it. Understand it.
yeah. And here is our UI page main tab. Dashboard is the sort of the NAC policy or NAC collected information status, issue, and management, view and manage node, and switch and user list. And log is just history about device history. And policy, actually you make the create and manage the NAC policy. And preference tab only use the integration. And system is manage the policy server and network sensor. Yeah, I will show the real demo. Can you see my screen about the web page? And it is the login page, and I will log in. It is the dashboard. Dashboard show the NS policy, sort of NS policy status overall. So, and I'll try the demo about this section: IPAM, DHP, authentication, gas registration, AV check, P2P. So actually, so far, professional, and last of the need the enterprise. So first IPAM. Here is the management. You can see the sensor, network sensor. Sensor IP is 10.250. And it is a my node. network sensor collect the information IP and MAC, and platform, yeah, something like that, or more detailed information and classify the type. And if the type is long, you can change the manually and or report. Actually, it is the server, but now our next server classify the PC. So if you report it, we report to your report, and we change our GPDB or NMDB. It is a PMDB. Like the PMDB is the predefined the node type information and automatically updated in a week. And I manually change my node status and task IPMAC policy deny MAC. Okay. You can see the line on the MAC, and if the device tries to access the internet, the device will show this page, this captive web portal page, and we guide why your device is blocked. Actually, this message, you can change it. This captive web portal will customize it. So every time we manually block the device, it is very inconvenient. So we provide automatically block if the new device is access the network. Now change the allow MAC and sensor system. Sensor, click the sensor and edit sensor setting and scroll down. You can see the IPAM policy. Now, IPAM policy is allow. Specify whether to allow a new MAC IP of a new node. You change the deny MAC. Actually, you just choose deny IP, deny MAC, or deny IP and MAC. Now I choose the deny MAC and update. And back to the sensor management list, and I will remove my node, and then network sensor detect again my node and device, and remove the node. You can see that it is automatically block my MAC address. And next, we provide the IP completion. Some of the user, when they set their device PC IP, their long configuration, so they set their device IP as a gateway IP. So if they set the gateway IP, the there is a completion to the gateway, with the gateway. So, and then it happened. Other PC, they update their ARP table to the gateway IP is the PC is misconfigured. So it happened to doesn't work the network. So all of the device couldn't access the internet or other network. So we need to prevent the confliction. So IPMAC policy, it is the gateway. I prevention this gateway IP. It means the gateway IP 10.1 can only use this MAC. This MAC only can use this IP. Task IPMAC policy allow IP for specific MACs. And I add the node. It is a miscompute. The device has a AA MAC. The device set the gateway IP. It happened to complete normally status, but now we prevent the gateway IP. So if the device set the gateway IP, the device will block.
Steve?
Yeah.
I have a question. So, for example, let's say let's use another IP like 10.50. Right? So, for example, that's my computer or laptop.
Yeah.
And then Sir Donovan has another laptop as well. And he statically input the IP address of 10.50. We have the same. But we configured Ingenience that at my IP address, right? So enable IP conflict, that only I can use that IP, that 10.50. What will happen to Sir Donovan's laptop, which has the same IP address?
Normally status, if the UIP is turn on status, turning on and running, but Donovan PC set the IP as UIP same, the Donovan couldn't get the IP. Just his IP just 168 dot anything actually doesn't get the IP address. But if your computer is turn off status, your computer power off, and Donovan device, Donovan set his PC to the UIP 10.50, and Donovan can use the UIP. And then after you turn on your PC, you couldn't use your IP. Is it right?
Oh, so
Yeah.
For my understanding, so let's say currently I am the one using 10.50. Sir Donovan's laptop's using 10.50 as well. So in Genius, what we'll see, we have two 10.50, correct?
Yeah.
But different MAC address.
Yeah.
Okay. So for example, on my configuration is the enable conflict prevention is still running. So as long as the status is the status of my laptop is active, and then Sir Donovan cannot use the 10.50. However, if I turn off my laptop, then Sir Donovan can now use the 10.50. Is that correct?
Yeah, but
Ah,
if the
okay. So
network sensor is running, network
Mhm.
sensor prevent your IP.
Oh, prevent.
If the your IP, or even your IP is turned PC is turned off.
Can we have a like an policy for that? For example, there will be a web portal. For example, you statically inputted an IP address that has been allocated from other users. Then just to notify this user, this IP has been used. Please remove it or change it to dynamically instead of statically.
Actually, network sensor already prevent your IP, and Donovan set the your IP.
Okay.
Actually,
So
Donovan doesn't
basically, you
get the
can
your IP.
anything
Doesn't
happens
get.
as long as the network
Because
sensor.
network sensor prevent.
Uh-huh.
It is the your IP. You Donovan couldn't use because it is the your IP.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Thanks.
Yeah. And it is a conflict prevention. And also we provide the change prevention change map. So it means my IP only can use this map, this IP. My map only use this IP. But if I change my IP 10.8 to 10.10, the network sensor block the 10.10 IP address. It is the change prevention. Task now I allow. I allow MAC current IP for all sensor work IP current sensor allow MAC current IP, and you can see this name icon, and I add if I change my IP (10.8) and 10.10. Yeah, you can see this IP and MAC is illegal, and this node will block. Node means the IP and MAC combination. And so far, it is the IFAM policy, and also our real case is there is so many nodes in this page, so you want to see the one page, and for IP status, you can change the IP matrix view, and also IP matrix view change the you want to information like the off status assigned by DHCP or reserved. Reserved is the IP reserved or conflict prevention enable or node group. Node group is you can choose like the now PC or platform. It depends on the depends on the group that you made. Apple macOS or blocking section.
Steve,
Yeah.
hello, Steve. Can we
Yeah.
add more? Earlier, the reserve instead of from a Donghan slide, instead of reserve, it's just Microsoft Windows. Can we add another legend for that? Like for example, so we have no visibility for what are those Microsoft Windows, Mac, laptops, then devices. Can we do that?
Yeah, you can do that. So we just check but we provide the three type
Oh, only 3.
yeah, only
Can we
3
add more?
status and node group status. So I already mentioned node group. Here is the node group policy. Click the policy. Policy, there is the node policy and enforcement policy, and group. Group is the node. Node group, you check the node group, and like you made a node group task, create Windows, add platform detected is equal to Windows, add and right. You choose Windows save, and now there is no node. If the Windows node, here is the node, in Windows node, you can see the number.
So, Steve,
Yeah,
the legend, so we could just only like edit it, only 3. Is it correct?
yeah, only 3.
So if we want to add more, like make it 4, like custom legend, we can.
Custom region.
Yes,
So, yeah, if
I mean,
you want
what
to,
you,
if you want to add information, you can make the group, like the group.
so we will be depending on the node group instead. So it's like calling it this group like Windows, and then this is all for laptop devices and mobile devices.
Yeah,
so we just make
anything you if you want, and then you can add the widget that group. Now add widget.
Let's see.
And you can choose one you want to group: Apple, macOS, or Antivirus Learning, or Windows, and save. And you can see the what you want to group status.
So JJ.
Yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt. So please correct me if I'm wrong. So your question was in the IPAM matrix view, C-class matrix view. Your request is actually we can add more type. The Steve just guided the type of node group. We can actually displayed onto the IP in that matrix view. So is that what you're actually looking for, or are you looking for any places in this dashboard that, as long as you can classify or the devices based on the the condition what you want? Is it from the IP address matrix view or just dashboard or other area?
Oh, okay. So my question was for the IP matrix, because from your slide earlier, there's the legend was supposed to be on my laptop was the last one was reserved. Oh, Steve, could you do me a favor? Could you go to the IP matrix? Sorry.
Yeah.
Is it okay? Thanks, man. So at my laptop, the legend part, so it's the instead of Windows, it's reserved. So Steve showed us that we could base it by a node group, right? So basically, in the node group, we will add the Windows, Mac, so it's a grouping. So my question is, since some legends here, the last three has a like a settings screw. We don't know what this logo means, but by clicking it, that's when we're going to edit it, right? Instead of three, can we add more? Like can we add another one here, or just the three? Because
JJ, please give a minute us to talk in Korean, okay?
Yeah. All right. Because the reason why I'm asking is because in case on the deployment, I like the IP matrix view, but can we also can I also see that who are using Windows laptop, who are using Windows, sorry, not Windows laptop, Mac OS, and who are the devices. So with this, we can identify who are the users. I was just thinking of it.
Okay, so your question is, can we add more?
Yes.
The condition, and what is the condition of that we can actually put on that each IP?
Yes,
right?
yes.
Okay, just let me talk to Steve, okay?
All right.
윈도우즈 100개 늘어날 수 있는 100개고 보여줄 수 있는 그 종류가 아까 플랫폼처럼 있는데 그거 말고 폰이 보여줄 수 있는 그러니까 수량이랑 종류 그거가 있어.
저게 단데 그냥. 그냥 노드에서 가야 돼. 그냥 노드에서 가니까. 매트릭스는 말 그대로 IP랑 그런 정보들만 보여주는 거지. 그거에 대한 상세한 정보는 노드 뷰에서 이렇게 보여야 돼.
그건 이미 정해졌잖아요. 그 밑에 다른 거 하나만 커스터마이징 가능한데 그것도
세 개가 커스터마이징 가능.
그 위에 뭐 DHCP로 커스터마이징 가능한 거예요?
네, 다 세 개.
타입은 그 디테일하게 볼 수 있는 건 노드 그룹에 있는 거 가지고.
네, 요거밖에 안 돼.
Sorry to pre-waiting. So I just talked to Steve regarding with the how many number of conditions we can actually display in this IP matrix view. Actually, the available number of the condition is only 3, as just Steve guided. So as of now, there's a like up or assigned by DHCP, Windows. You can also see the logo of the gear, right part. So these 3, you can actually customize just like what just Steve did. So if you want to actually address it more detail, then it is better to bring the information based on the node group because it addresses you more detailed. You can set the condition. Obviously, here in the IP matrix view, there is the limitation. So if you want to actually have more like detail or the variety type of comparison, then you need to actually go to the dashboard and create the new user widget, just like Steve guided. Okay.
Dong and I created a screenshot. So this is what I expected. I can not sure if I could share a screen.
So
just to
have you send somewhere, or are you going to share?
Oh yeah. I could send it on Slack if it's okay. This
Okay.
is so one sec.
Okay.
Sorry about this. Because I just thinking if client may want this kind of option.
Okay.
So one sec. Uploading image. Oh, I forgot to see. There you go. I put it on the client-ngcp group at the Slack. So this is from currently at the house that I'm staying. So I edit it and then assigned, instead of 3, it's now 5. Okay, can you see it now?
Customer want to add more option information.
Actually, it's not actually option. The way you explained it earlier that it's possible. It's like very expandable how we could monitor it via node group, right? I just wanted to know if instead of 3, like this up assigned HCP, then Windows, can we add another one here? So instead of 3, it's now 4. Or is it just 3? From the Slack that I sent, I added another 2. So expecting if this is possible, add more legend to it.
I think so. We're gonna consider it to add that region option. So normally the customer use that IP matrix view just to see the one page about their IP status. But normally the customer will use this node list normally more than more than IP matrix view. So yeah. So yeah, we're gonna consider it to add it.
If it's 3, then it's just fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know if we increase more. But if it's just limited for 3, I think I will just going to base it on the node policy that just that you showed earlier. Very helpful for that. Thank you.
Yeah, and also you click the node IP and policy. Click the policy tab. You can set the time limit to this IP is able to use the end date, or when this IP can use the start date. You can set the IP expiry time. So far, it is the IPAM policy. And then next, DHP. DHP, the DHP policy, when we enable the DHP policy, we use the sensor setting and system sensor and edit the sensor setting. Click the edit the sensor setting and scroll down. You can see the DHP. Now DHP service on, default off. I'll change the on, and we provide the 3 type of the DHP service. local is the DHCP service, each sensor, and remote is provide the DHCP service, the police server, and local and remote provide the police server manage the IP pool and distribute the using network sensor. So I show the DHCP service. We provide the three type of the DHCP: local, global, remote. Local network sensor provide the DHCP IP to the device, and global police server provide the DHCP service, and also network sensor provide the DHCP service. It is the HA. We can provide HA configuration about DHCP, and remote IP police server manage the IP pool, and but network sensor distribute the IP from the police server. So we provide the three type of the DHCP service, and you can see there now here there is no DHCP IP. If you network if your device is assigned the IP from the network sensor, you can see the IP address MAC and expired time. Okay. Yeah, it is the DHCP service, how to enable. And so now,
Steve, for the
yeah.
DHCP, sorry, Steve.
Yeah.
I have a question for the DHCP. So in the IP matrix, there's an option called DHCP pool. So will that depend on if you're using the DHCP server from the Genius or not? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So if you're using the DHCP server features of Genius, this DHCP pool, for example, in your screen right now, we have 100 IP address, usable IP address. So the 99, I see. But if we client has an existing one, can we also make it this DHCP pool work?
Yeah,
like this
it
one?
just depends on your configuration about the DHCP IP pool.
Can you show us how to configure it? So for example, client an existing DHCP server.
Sensor.
Okay.
Edit the sensor setting.
Okay.
Scroll down. DHCP and local and pool. And this duration or server. And you can change it.
So it has now 200. So this the DHCP, just the one that you showed earlier, is where we're going to configure it. So for example, I have we're on the deployment. Then client wants to use the their own DHCP server, okay, instead of the Genius DHCP server. So, but they want to see this DHCP pool working, so they could be identified what are the remaining DHCP address or IP address that's available.
You mean the customer already used the DHCP server? So
Yes, they have their own DHCP server.
Yeah, wanted to know what's the device is assigned the DHCP IP, or other device, what's the device is set the static IP address.
Yes.
Is it right? So
Right.
yeah, actually our network sensor detect the static of the IP type. The device is receive the DHCP or the static. They set the static IP address. We actually the network sensor install the customer side, and the new device connect the customer side, and the device use the DHCP. The device send the DHCP hello packet. DHCP hello packet. It is the device request the DHCP IP from the DHCP server. So network sensor monitor the packet. So then if the device assign the DHCP IP, our network sensor check the device is assigned the IP from the DHCP server. So network sensor police server check the device is detect the DHCP. So it is the architecture. But if the device before the device is access the plug into the customer site, and then network sensor install our network sensor couldn't recognize the device. The device received the IP, DHCP, or static. So,
JJ, the answer from the
Yes.
Steve is clear.
Or do you have any?
So please give me a minute to discuss with Steve about this.
Okay. All right.
그러니까 그거를 얘기를 해주는데 몇 %가 아니라는 거지, 아키텍처에서. 이게 그러니까
So JJ?
Yes.
So Steve will is going to think about how to actually properly explain. But
Yes,
the thing is,
uh-huh.
since if the customer using the Genius DHCP, we already know the IP address range
Yes.
of the we assigned by the DHCP, right? We
Right.
fully know because that is one we provided.
Yes.
But since if the customer want to use their own DHCP server, we detect their the IP, whether it's provided by their DHCP server or the static, based on our network sensor that detected. But according to Steve, it's not the 100%, depends on their architecture.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So some IP address that detected by DHCP can be displayed in their metrics view, or some of them are not. So it's not 100% correct. That according to Steve. So Steve will add more comment. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why we detect the 100%? Why we don't provide 100%? Because if the device when the device will use the DHCP, the device plug into the network. The device normally send the DHCP request packet to the DHCP server. So in case the network sensor monitor the network environment and detect the DHCP request packet, so we decide we determine the device will use the DHCP server IP. But if the device already plug into the network before our network sensor install, the device already get the DHCP IP. So the device couldn't request the DHCP IP to the server. But if the device DHCP IP time is released and the device end again to request the DHCP server DHCP IP packet request packet, our network sensor can detect the packet, and we determine the device will be used the DHCP IP. So I mentioned, so it is not 100% if we provide the DHCP server.
Okay, thanks.
So JJ, do you understand?
Yes, I understand now. I ask it because if client just on the presentation that we for the pre-kickoff, when I presented it, I shown them the IP matrix. So basically, if on a deployment, I am 100% sure they will ask the DHCP pool. Why is it just 0? So for now, I have now the answer that if you're going to use the Genius DHCP server functionalities, it will provide us how many IP address. But if you're using your own, it may vary differently. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's correct. But do you know? Right. Do you understand the why?
Sorry.
let me summarize what Steve mentioned. Okay. So the basic the algorithm, the Genius network sensor, the identify certain IP address is from deployed by DHCP server or just steady, is the checking the DHCP packet, request packet that is requested from the devices to the DHCP server, usually when it connects to the network at the first time. But the issue is, it is okay if network sensor installed and all other the devices is the connect your network, then our network sensor will be able to actually detect all devices, and we interrupt all the DHCP request packet from all devices. So that will be, we can fully detect the IP address from the DHCP that customer owns. But the problem is the customer already using their network. There are plenty of number of devices, right? And then they adopt NAC. So after NAC, the network sensor is implemented, then if the new node try to access, then we eventually detect the DHCP request packet and find out, oh, this device is trying to use the IP address, DHCP IP address, not a steady. But what about the existing the devices that already connected in their node, just like server? Once they connected, they never normally not really disconnect unless there's some fault or change your IP or something like that. In that case, network sensor doesn't have any idea that server IP address is provided by the DHCP server or just steady, because it never the request to DHCP, the request to the DHCP server, because they already have, they don't necessarily do that. So unless all the devices refresh, meaning it's request DHCP, request packet to the DHCP server, otherwise our network sensor cannot identify the IP addresses provided which the way method, DHCP or either steady. Do you understand?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. That is the reason.
I think that is the answer from our previous meeting. I think that's the answer, Ran. Thank you. Thank you, Dongan.
If you don't understand, I will make some PPT and send you later.
Oh. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And
I think that's sorry. I think I currently running the policy server from the demo, the one that when you're going to create a policy server. So I think that's the reason why at the DHCP, there's an option, the status column DHCP, since we didn't use the Genians. I think that's the reason.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, and so far, you can see that this node is status is the back block deny IPAM, as you can see. So, and left, we assign the network permission for this node. So, policy, enforcement policy, I already, it is a default enforcement policy when you install the first time our policy server. And there is the predefined policy. So, and unauthorized device is condition is the IPAM is denied. So now the node is the 10.1 and 10.8. And I'll enable this enforcement policy and enable the enforcement policy. This node group will be assigned this permission. This permission is only can use the captive web portal. And update. You can consider two nodes is assigned this enforcement policy. These two nodes is status is not compliance about IPAM policy. And the node try to connect the internet, we'll see the captive web portal page. And if I allow this MAC address, if the cost operator or administrator allow this MAC address, allow MAC, you can see that one node is removed, this group, in this enforcement policy. And the 10.8 is the now is assigned the default default policy. Default policy is the POM all. And next, authentication. Node policy and default policy. Password authentication enable. It is a password authentication enable policy and update. If you want to just your node, you can make this node policy as well. And I already mentioned, if you and enforcement policy now user not authenticated enable update. There is the two node is not compliance user not authenticated status. Now let me check this enforcement policy. Node group is the user not authenticated. The condition is the authenticated user status is user not authenticated. If the user is not authenticated, all user is belong to this group, this status group. It is the status group, and this group will be assigned the POM captive web product. Now,
Steve?
Yeah.
Just a question. So for this enforcement policy, let's say the number 4 is authenticated, if this users, from my understanding, is not hasn't been authenticated, they will redirect. They will be redirect to the Captive web portal. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Can I see your permission later for the how did you make it redirect to Captive web portal?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
And now these two nodes try to connect internet. We'll see this page and login required. Please click login button to login.
When they log in, if we make the authentication based on LDAP, so the username and password will be based on that, correct?
Yeah. But if you need to integrate with the LDAP, you need to enterprise license.
We need to make it enterprise.
Professional license only support the web login.
Oh,
web-based login.
If we choose local DB, that's when you will use their user the administration. There from the user, right? Can you go back to the management? Oh, I see. So that's the reason why and I tested it here at my laptop. I use every time when I inputted in, it's based on this credential. I see. So that's because of the local DB.
Yeah, if you want to use the authentication, you manually management user and task add user. And now user not authenticated is or belong to the two nodes, 10.1 and 10.8. But as we know, 10.1 is the gateway. Actually, the gateway doesn't block. It needs. So we change the policy state user not authenticated status group, and we add more condition. Add IP is equal to sorry, IP is between at it is the Boolean operator is AND. AND mean the device or node is satisfied this condition and also satisfied this condition. The device have to satisfy these two conditions. And then the device is included by this group. But or Boolean option is or is the device is just satisfies one condition. If the device is one condition is satisfied, is the device will be belong to this group, and or IP is between 10.3 to 10.200. The satisfied, it is just satisfied one condition is belong to this group. Now I change the N option, update. You will see the one node is removed. Just my node, just PC is assigned this enforcement policy. And I log in. Sorry. Login. Yeah, after login, the login name, you can see the login name and policy. My node is the removed user not authenticated. And we can provide the SSO authentication via AD or LDAP, something like that. So it's the policy and node policy and default mode. Click the policy name and you single sign-on method just enabled Active Directory and update. Apply. if the device is joined the AD, our NEC agent automatically authenticated via AD username to integrate with the AD username. So the user doesn't process to log in via our web page. And or if the user guest access your internet and they don't have any ID, so guest we provide the guest user registration system. So this part. Guest request user account and username. Check availability. Actually, it is each column customized if customer want.
Steve.
Yeah.
So this one that you're currently demo is, for example, at the client for the deployment, they want to have a captive web portal for, let's say, guest users, guest clients. So this is when we're going to input credentials for them to be able to access the network. Is it correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Can we make it like have a duration? Let's say when you're, for example, this guest user is only available for 24 hours, let's say. Then for other guest users, for example, guest users for the managers, okay, for example, with some clients there, for 24 hours. Oh, no, sorry, 48 hours. Sorry, it's the same. 48 hours. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's like we have two captive web portals for different clients or different group of people. Can we do that?
It couldn't. It just we provide just one registration page. Yeah.
Okay, registration.
Yeah, for guest users. So.
Can we also?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, sorry. Get it. Sorry.
But you should mind, it is the enterprise license.
Enterprise license
Indeed,
for
enterprise license.
Also, we need enterprise license for this feature. So since in the deployment they only use professional, what if they wanted to have that kind of feature?
Guys,
hello?
I'm sorry to interrupt. So because there are so many questions ongoing,
sorry.
I think you guys still confusing about which part of the feature is part of professional or required enterprise. Because it's really important that if we misguided the customer, it causes the problem because it all related to cost. So if you still remember the RFP from this project, it's all about IPAM. There's no mention about user authentication or the integration with third party. Customer may guide you that we'd like to have this feature because since it has this feature, but you should not actually guide them that we can support this feature in this project because the the license they purchase is not part of professional that which we propose within their budget in this project. Okay, it should be will be proposed by IAID for the upsale, probably sometime. Do you understand?
Yes, got it.
So, Steve, please give me, make me a host. I'd like to share, this project compliance before Steve proceed, because this is important. Sorry, guys, okay? Please understand. Okay. Guys, can you see this Excel file that we submitted to the NGCP when we submit the proposal at the beginning? So if you see here, it's all about the IPAM, IP address management, and DHCP. Either Luzon or even Visayas. So as a engineer or pre-sales or even the consultant, if you meet your customer, please be careful and safely guide what is right on this requirement, and also the addition that we propose. If we misguide it, then it will be make some problem issue. Okay.
Got it, Dongan. Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
So I think
So
I have this Excel as well. I'll look into it.
yeah, because it is you should be very careful about this one, because all this this training and also other webinars that you have been attended, basically we provided based on the enterprise edition, full feature. But depends on the features, additions that customer purchase. Some of the feature may not be available. Okay, that's all. Thank you. Sorry to interrupt. I'm hand over to Steve again, host.
And we recast the user account to the administrator. And then we approve that account. There is the two way. First is the operator directly approve the user account, or the guest recast the user account and approve automatically self-registration. So we provide a two-way. So it is the first way is the recast user, operator accept this account or reject. Or you can change self-registration. instant approval. It means if the guest requests the account after registration, they don't need approved by administrator. Update. And I request again. Okay. And it doesn't need to any approved by operator. Automatically authenticated and I log in if I request the account. And then you will see there this node is authenticated user name. And then antivirus check. How to check and how to deploy the AV. When it comes to software program check, whether it's installed or running, we need to install our agent. So we can import the agent installation for the user and policy and node policy, default policy. Scroll down. Agent policy is default on, off. Now on. If the agent policy is off, defaultly Captive Web Profile page, you can see the install agent button. Now I disable the install agent and apply. It doesn't appear the install agent button. If I change the agent install on, you can see the Captive Web Profile page. Install agent button appeared. And now my PC status is default policy, and it is allow the whole network. So I enable the agent install policy, enforcement policy. The condition is node group is one of the Microsoft Windows, agent is not installed. And enable. Maybe my update. And one node is included. Agent not installed. And if I try to connect internet, I will see the I'll see this web page. So, and I click the install agent button, run. I insert the agent. And you can see that this appeared the agent install button. And we check the node list, and you can see the agent icon. It means this node is installed agent. And you can see the more extra tab like the system or software. System, we provide the system information, motherboard, this PC is notebook or desktop or memory, and disk status, and product key, network connection, interface, and speed, IP4, V4 configuration, IPv6 configuration, sharing folder is whether it's a sharing folder in existence or not. So now sharing read write, and USB device status, user account, yeah, something like that. And network, what is port is open, and software status. Now insert this software, and antivirus is the window depender is running, software version, engine version, updated real time, enabled, and OS update status, not comparison, no. And policy status is this node is what the policy is assigned. Node policy is the default policy, enforcement policy is the default policy now. So I check the antivirus status, not compliant. Listen, all condition is satisfied, so I pass this antivirus check compliance. Check. So I changed my status. Now my antivirus software window depender real-time check enabled. I changed the enable to disable. Real-time protection off. Now my antivirus window depender real-time protection is disabled, and it takes 10 seconds to update my status. now my status is disabled. So I assign the antivirus not compliant, and there is the region. Access denied, you may need to comply with the antivirus policy. So I changed my status on real-time protection, and now enabled, and policy, enforcement policy, I get out of from this group, and I assign the default policy. And it is antivirus check, how to check. And next, P2P, kill the process. Like I use the Utran. Yeah, I learned my Utran. So operator need to kill that process. So like the illegal process, Utran or Skype or something like SNS, it doesn't useful to work. Policy, load policy, and default policy. Add the plugin, assign, terminate the process, add, I'll add the option, copy. Process is equal to Utran. If your PC running on the Utran is running on your PC, our agent killed that process. Okay. No. Sorry. 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 I forget to update. Update. And many months. Yeah, you can see the terminate the process and unauthorized process is terminated. Our agent show the pop-up message. And my demo is finished, and I'll show you some of the architecture about our NAC policy. So far, actually, it doesn't import the device if the device is not compliance rule, because now the network sensor mode is passive. Passive mode is just monitor. So we need to change the active mode in order to actually enforce the net policy. So here is the monitoring and enforce. If the change the mode, you consider the color is the change, blue to pink. And system, click the system and sensor, edit sensor setting and enforcement policy and update it. You consider change the color. And our network access control architecture, I will show you. So ARP protocol, so on the for understand our NAC, you need to know the ARP protocol. ARP protocol is when the device first connect the network and the device asks for all of the device. My IP and MAC is this thing, and other device IP and MAC, what you have the IP and MAC address, and then the device get that kind of the information IP and MAC from other devices and update their ARP table. So you can check the ARP table. Just you open the command prompt and ARP-A. It is your PC ARP table. So I know the 10.1 gateway has this MAC address. So when I try to access internet or other network, I send the packet to gateway and internet via always via gateway MAC address. It is the normally normally processed to communicate the other device or network. And how to register the new node in our network sensor. So first, new device is plugged in and broadcast request. Sensor detect the packet, and the sensor request register new node about the device to police server, and police server command active host scan. So network sensor perform the active host scan, collect the SNMP or DSP information or NetBIOS, something like that, and then gather this information, and network sensor send this information to the police server, and police server classify the type and platform. And it is how to control and how to modulate the ARP table to block the node. If the node A will be blocked, so now first, when plug into the node A, and node A ARP table is updated, 1.200 IP address has a MAC address CC. Network sensor modulate that MAC address. This MAC address is the network sensor MAC address. So it means when the node A try to communicate the node B, the node A only send the packet to the network sensor. Network sensor received the packet and drop. So node A couldn't communicate with node B. So there is the architecture before network, this device before network control and after network control, ARP table. DD MAC is the network sensor MAC. And how to redirect the store page? The PC is poisoning, and PC query to connect the web page, and DNS query, and DNS server send the IP address to the PC, and PC connect that IP address, and network sensor take away the session, and network sensor communicate instead of the web server, and TCP sessions SYN and TCP session SYN act, and three-way handshake to establish it, and PC request the HTTP web page, and then network sensor redirect the web page like the CWP, captive web portal. The PC connect our police server CWP web page. It is the algorithm redirected server page. So far, my training is finished. So I think you tested own self, and if you have a question, feel free to contact us through Slack. So I will yeah, support you guys.
Got it. Thanks, Steve.
Yeah. Yeah, if you have any more question.
Okay, guys. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, guys, for attending today's training session. I guess this is quite long training session. Some of you may be still confusing. It is very normal. So we are going to share this the video file, what we're recording right now, later. Of course, as Steve mentioned, you can ask us anytime if you have any confusion or things wanted to know more. Please feel free to contact us through the Slack, okay? Because which is much faster. Before we end this session, do you have any additional question?
None so far.
Yeah.
Thanks,
No
Steve.
more?
Thanks, Dongan. Yeah, for me,
Okay.
I'm good.
Okay. So please try to test by yourself. Okay, just watching us and someone's demonstration doesn't really much help. You feel like you understand, but if try to do by yourself, it's still confusing, probably. So please try your test by yourself and ask us. We will wait for your question, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
So, do we still have another session or?
No, this is the end of session.
This is the end of session.
Yes.
Okay.
So we share the how to configure the best practice, including the old features that part of this NGCP project. Okay. So
Okay.
and I'm sorry to say this again. So please fully understand the differences between the professional edition and enterprise edition. And guys, write to the customer. Okay, that's all. Okay. Thank you, guys. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, Donghan. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
If I have a question, I'll just
Thank you.
ask it on the Slack. Thanks,
Okay, no
Steve.
problem.
Thanks,
Okay.
Dong. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.